Hello and welcome to the new season of The Boy and the Bear. I'm Stephen, media and host of the podcast, and I'm delighted to announce that after a series of summer negotiations, I am joined for what is our 50th episode by our resident boy Paddy and Bear Scotty. How are we doing, lads?
Good, thanks. Yeah, it's nice to be back. Good to see you, Scotty.
I'm good, lads. Nice to see you too, Paddy. Nice to see you, Stevie boy. Looking forward to getting into it. I feel a bit more confident this year.
The first lie of the podcast, there we go.
Absolutely.
In this episode, we're going to be looking into both clubs' ins and outs, how the lads and wider fan bases are feeling, and give our opinion of the up-and-coming season. However, before all of that is compliments, and the lads have had 6 weeks to think about this, so surely, Scotty, you can think of one. You're up first.
Oh, it's tough as it always is, but my compliment is obviously the Nicholas Kuhn transfer fee. You know, what's he been at Celtic for? A year and a half, something like that. You paid £3 million for him and you sold him for a substantial amount of money. So that's very good business for Scottish football. I think it represents that there is talent here and all clubs should be looking to maximise the value. So that's my compliment.
Cheers, Scotty. Yeah, it's good to get that amount of money for a guy that clearly checked out halfway through a season when he decided he couldn't be arsed being there anymore. My compliment to Rangers is, at the time of recording, they are leading Panathinaikos in the playoff, and I thought that was a really good result to get. Yeah. Was that his first competitive game at home, Russell Martin? Yeah, beating a strong team. I think rode your luck a little bit in the first half, but I mean, a win's a win. So, yeah, well played.
Thank you. You take it. I think it was always going to be a bit ropey in the first half. You know, it's like a whole new way of playing, new system, new players trying to embed in. So I'll take it. It's going to be rough, I think, for the first couple of weeks, but as long as the victories keep coming, I'll take it. So,
Paddy, see with the Kuhn transfer fee, do you think most of it came from his domestic performances or basically that Leipzig game?
It was probably the game against Leipzig, wasn't it, where he scored an absolute wonder goal. I've not jumped off my seat for a Celtic goal like that in quite a long time. And obviously he scored against Bayern as well in the Allianz, turned up for the big games, but just didn't seem to have the stomach for the fight towards the end of the season, just sort of checked out. And honestly, you'd rather have someone that was going to give their all than someone who was capable of brilliance but decided they couldn't be arsed. So, yeah, you can't really argue with the transfer fee. However, I mean, we're going to talk about this in great detail later on, I'm sure, but it does leave us desperately needing some wingers. So
don't you worry about that, mate. We've got a good at least 10 minutes covered for that one. Don't worry. Right, lads, on to Come in Peace. And this week, I actually wanted to ask you both a question myself. So, Scotty, I'm going to start with you. I've been thinking about this throughout the summer, to be honest with you. What does... Well, that's interesting. That's interesting my summer's been. What does Russell Martin have to do to still be Rangers manager in May?
That's a good question. I think it has to
games of football.
Be competitive in the games, not get absolutely trounced. I think you've seen early on how high a line he plays from a defensive point of view, and I think that is the concern. Like, up against Celtic or teams of better quality, that we're going to get ripped open. Like, you know, we rode the luck, like Pat said, against Panathinaikos, and I think with more athletic players in the back line, that might mitigate itself. But I think as long as we don't get run over in Europe, I think as long as we're competitive against Celtic, I think he'll still be here. I think he's part of the plans. I don't think he'll be going anywhere in May. I think this is all part of a plan. I think the new owners are going to be sticking with him. That's what I'm gauging. Whether come May or January, I might have lost my hair by that point. But, you know, clip it up if you want. But
we've clipped up every season, to be honest.
I don't expect him to leave. I don't expect him to go. I don't think he'll get punted at the door regardless of what happens this season.
Now that's a reply I thought you'd give me. Realistically, the fans aren't going to allow that. If he doesn't win a trophy or is seen to be at least in the fight with the last couple of games of the season, do you see him being in a job?
Well, it's funny. It depends. So if you say we're quickly out of the league by December, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really hard to justify him in terms of the fans. I think there'll be a lot of people who were like, "Oh, I told you so. I was right. He's a duffer." Like, we're in this position, right? I said this, but I think come the end of the season, if we're close to Celtic, the point gap last year was 15 points. I think if we can make that 2 or 3 points come the end of the season, and there's a real sign of progress, I think on the whole, Rangers fans will genuinely be okay with it. They might not like not winning the league, but as long as there's clear signs of progress, I think we'll be absolutely fine. I think we'll be stick with him for that reason. So I'm just trying to keep my powder dry. I'm trying to keep my emotions in check because obviously the last couple of years they've been all a bit all over the place. Like
first episode of the series, and you've called Russell Martin a duffer.
I didn't say he was a duffer. I'm just saying that what people might think of him. So,
well, Paddy, sticking with managers, do you see, based on some of Brendan Rodgers' comments already in pre-season, a world where he leaves on his own accord this season?
Yeah, and it could be soon. It could be soon. It feels like Groundhog Day. Every single time we've started a season of this podcast, it's been the same chat. It's been, it'd be really great if we could invest in the team to improve, and there's still time. So at the moment, I'm concerned rather than panicked. But the season starts this weekend. This weekend.
We've signed, we're doing the podcast, mate.
Well, yeah, good point. Yeah, it's why I think we signed. You could argue maybe 3 players that are good enough for the first team, and obviously Tierney and Nygren, who looks a really good buy, and Shin Yamada. I think only Celtic could sign, one of the best fullbacks in Europe on his day and still be a weaker team than they were at the end of the last season. So yeah, jury's out on the transfers. To answer your question, yeah, like if reports are to be believed, this is why Rodgers left the first time around, was the constant chipping away at the quality in the team, selling players for high profit and not reinvesting it. It just, at the time we're recording, it doesn't seem as if that's going to change. There's reports of us, offering 1.5, then 1.75 million to go ahead for their winger, who they value at €6 million. So what's the point in sending in these derisory bids? We would tell other clubs where to go if they were trying to lowball us for players. So why do we do it to others? It's really, really frustrating. I think, the devil's advocate, if I was a member of the board, they would say, well, you spent 11 million on Engels and 9 million on Ida, and the jury's still relatively out on both of those players. But if you look at Celtic's recent history, the players that we paid big money for are the ones that have, improved the team.
Would you have the same feeling that you did first time if you left the club, or would you have a sense of understanding this time?
What, if I was Rodgers?
No, if you,
oh, me
as a fan.
If Rodgers left now, I think everyone would completely understand why. It's really, really puzzling. For Celtic to sign a player in Amura who doesn't look too bad if pre-season's anything to go by, and then Rodgers is asked if he's part of his first team plans, and he goes, no. What's the point in buying him? Honestly, what's the point?
Oh God!
Send
him out on loan and then just get That's
we've had Kwon leave last week, right?
He must have been devastated.
Didn't play a minute for Celtic. Didn't play a minute. So what's the point? Honestly, what's the point? I can totally understand Rodgers' frustration, but I mean, the silver lining is it's not the end of the window yet. I think the board are probably risking it majorly with Champions League qualification, see if we get it before spending. But as we know, lads, that is a risky strategy and it bites Celtic so many times. So yeah, I'm not throwing the Sharks yet, Scotty, but I'm looking at the fence.
Well, let's moving on to the main topics of the podcast, and I'm going to do something that I think in the 3 years of doing this podcast I've never done, which is extend an apology. And I'm actually going to give it to you, Scotty.
Wow.
And it's in regards to Finlay Curtis, because you have been banging on for every manager who to come into the club to give youth players a chance, and by God, that boy's grabbed it so far. So.
Yep.
Yeah, let's start there. Obviously, you've watched him a little bit more in depth than me. Is it someone that you'd seen before this season that could have made that jump, or are you even surprised so far?
I think there's always been rumours and murmurs about how good this kid.
I think you've mentioned him on the pod before, Scott.
Yeah, I have.
I think you're doing yourself a disservice here. I think you mentioned him towards the end of last season.
No, I did. I just mean before that. I had never seen the kid play, but you hear about. He scores 3-4 goals in the youth games. He's always ends up being the top goal scorer in the academy, becomes the academy player of the year, and then he gets a chance last season to come into the fray, and under Barry's just like, no, and it's like, I feel like that was a wasted opportunity. He could have been a bit more acclimatised to men's first team football last year if he was given the 6 games at the end of the season, but he's taking his chance. I mean, the kid's done really well from Bruges. Like the first half, you're like, oh, it's a bit up, and then he just takes the opportunity, scores, changes the game. The first game against Panathinaikos, you can see that there's a nervousness about him. He's 18. He's living the dream of every single fan. Like, he's been there since 6 years old, so you can understand there's a little bit of hesitation not to do anything wrong, because you know yourself how.
I don't know. I've never played for Rangers.
No. But I mean, I just meant like how difficult the crowd can be. If you make a mistake in these big games. So I think the kid did really well to come round the second half and actually just take the game by the scruff of the neck.
I don't know how you'll take this, Scott, but I'm being
probably terrible.
Probably terrible. Yeah. This is genuinely what I thought. Right, this is who you reminded me of, and I wonder if you know who I'm going to say. See, even the way he celebrated the sort of type of player he is, I thought we were looking at a sort of, if he was to carry on the way he's going, another kind of James Forrest type player. It really reminded me of him. Not maybe it's just the way he looks, or the fact that he kind of looks quite nimble and young.
But I get what you mean. Like,
it was a very sort of early James Forrest goal as well, like striding forward, and Rangers could get us a club legend type figure.
Yeah, well,
like
James
Forrest
is a Celtic.
Episode 1 of season 3, and Scott's already insulted the highly decorated Celtic player, most highly decorated Celtic player of all time. Well done, Scott.
Hey, listen, it's a rivalry, right? I've got to, but no, I think I get what you're saying. I think if he can keep himself grounded, I think if we as fans don't get on his back when he inevitably does.
Rangers fans never.
No, never at all. We're very level-headed, right? But I think that he's got something, and I think Russell Martin's probably a very good manager to bring that out of him. He's shown a lot of trust putting an 18-year-old in with virtually little first-team experience, and he takes his opportunity. And then again, Middlesbrough, he was another game changer in that second half. So I think he starts. I think him and Gassama start.
That was my next question.
Yeah, I think you've got to. He's in form right now. You play him until he takes a little bit of a dip. You bring him out of the team, protect him. You manage his minutes over the season, and then come next year, he's had a full season. It maybe becomes the key player in the forward line for Rangers. But I think he's done really well, and I do think we should be giving more youth players in Scotland a chance. But hey, we have a new winger possibly for the national team in a few months' time. Him and Doak, that would be
Settle
good.
Down.
I know, right? But that's what I'm saying. Can it? It's all good. Well, but no, he's a good player, and I'm going to enjoy watching his development this year. So,
just while you're in a positive mood, I wanted to remind you that at the back end of the season, you said that when Russell Martin became Rangers manager, you did not want to see a club transfer model of signing players from the English Championship. Yep. Currently, you have your signings. Previous clubs were Luton Town, Peterborough, Sheffield Wednesday, Bournemouth, and a loan in a Championship team from Bournemouth.
Yep.
Positive about anything, Scotty?
I'm trying to be. Still, the fear is still in the back of my mind that they're going to turn out to be other, like Championship jobbers that just come up here for a payday and aren't really interested. But to be fair, I watched an interview with Martin did for Rangers TV where he said we're basically having a dig at that Kwame Poku for obviously signing with QPR, and he said, like, I don't want players that we're an option. It's either I'm in or I'm not interested. I mean, it's not like we're anybody's options. It's like we're the first choice and you want to be here. And I like that. I thought that is the mentality we need. You need to be here. You want to be here. You want to do your best for the team.
Is that not just staunch talk? Surely
absolutely, Brent Brogues, all that, the sash, all that. It's going to be great.
They don't have options; they just have to come here.
No, but I just think it means instead of looking around, saying, I've got Rangers interest, I've got another club, I've got other clubs in the Championship. It's like Rangers. As soon as you hear the word Rangers Football Club, it's like, right, that's where I want to go. There's no other club I'm not interested in moving to anywhere else. I think that's a good sign, and I'm trying to be positive. Like, obviously, Joe Rothwell had an excellent first outing, controlled the game for us. thought he was really good, and I think the more he gets used to the team, his teammates, he'll be better. I think Gassama you couldn't ask for a better debut, really. A couple of minutes on the park and he scores an absolute belter of a goal. So maybe we've identified better quality or higher caliber players from the Championship rather than trying to penny pinch ones from the mid to lower ebbs. We're looking at like better outputted players from the Championship. So I might eat my own words at this end of the season, and do you know what? If that's the case, I will happily eat the humble pie. Not a problem. If I'm proven wrong that I clearly know nothing about Championship football in England, I'm happy if it results in us winning the league.
Well, apparently your expectations are finishing second anyway, so you don't need to eat any humble pie.
No.
Which of them excite you the most, Scotty, and what gaps are still in the squad in your opinion?
I think Sam is exciting. I think obviously he's electric, right? He came on and just showed why he was such a loss for Sheffield Wednesday, and they're all foaming at the mouth saying, "Oh, what a bargain you guys have got him for!" Like raging. So I'm quite happy with that. He looks good. I think Joe Rothwell is an excellent piece of business, and Phil Asgard, he looks very good as well. So there's a few good ones. I still think we need a centre back, a left-sided centre back, and a left back. I think another 2 wingers to come in. And then, depending on if Egerman or Dessers go, then
you've got to get rid of both of them. In terms of, he's obviously not fancying Dessers and Egerman. You've got to take that fee that's been talked about, Scotty.
But to be honest, I get the fee, right? And you would probably bite your hand off. But I just think the boy is special. Do you mean? And it's like if you put him in a team with actual proper wingers, an actual proper system around him, like what could he, get to with a full season? Like, the fee talked about is mightily impressive for a guy that was basically only playing for 6 months and half the time he's out in the left-hand side of the pitch.
Are you going to be foaming at the mouth if you leave, Scotty?
No, I'll be happy if it's like 35 million, so I'll be good. But no, I just think like I wouldn't be adverse to keeping him. I think he would be an excellent if we can keep him and strengthen around him. I think that'd be a brilliant window. They're not paying the fee, like you said, Pat, about penny pinching. Do you know what I mean? Like Lille are trying to penny pinch this player. It's like we've set the price tag, pay it or move on. And I think we're in quite within our rights to do so. So I wouldn't be upset if Egerman stays. Dessers is a good squad option, but as I said to you boys last year, you cannot pin your title hopes on him. He can't be your starting striker. So
top goal scorer in the league can't be the starter in a team now.
No, but
let's not do Dessers again.
Yeah, I know.
Bored of listening to you talk about Dessers.
I know.
Let's finish on the outgoings at Rangers, because that's the bit looking when I was looking at some of the stuff going into this podcast. It was the one that stood out the most to me. Sorry. Any other ones that are kind of floating around the bench, etc., Scotty, that you need to get off the wage bill?
Yeah, I think like there's obviously the ones hanging about but like Rabbi Matondo, Ben Davies, Jose Cifuentes. I think Leon King has stagnated at Rangers. I think he needs to go for the sake of his own.
You've got a very championshipy squad, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. It's full of championship players. But I think those are the folk that need to go. Robin Proper obviously left a few days ago, so that's another big wage off.
What'd you get back from him, Scotty? Is it 1.5?
1.5, so like
bad,
pretty much what we paid for him, like, which isn't bad. Like it just hasn't worked out. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's not suited to Scottish football.
You have said he was a bad player several times.
Aye. For Scottish football, he's a bad player. He's not physical enough. But I'm not saying he's a terrible player. But yeah, no, I think there's a few people to still go out the door. I think maybe that's why there hasn't been more signings right now. I think we're maybe trying to clear some room in the squad. I think Ridvan will be the next to go as well. I think there's talk of him going back to Turkey. So
if you think that's not making signings,
I was going to say, I think 7's good, Scotty. You can't change your whole squad every season.
No, I know it's good. What I mean is that's why I'm saying I think they've maybe paused on signing the wingers or the left back they need until they clear a bit of room in the squad, because it was the match day squad list from Middlesbrough game, and honestly, it was huge. It was like players that you're like, are you still here? Okay.
So. Do you think that's what's happening on the other side of Glasgow as well, Paddy?
I would love, like, it's that time of year where you're like searching Celtic transfers, and it's just like,
every
This is
2
my
seconds.
favourite time of season, honestly.
Just
oh,
refreshing,
I love
refreshing.
this. Oh, I love this.
hay bales in the Wild West, like blown across the road. Absolutely no sign of anything going on at Celtic. I've got no idea what's going on.
Any
I
rumours? Strong rumours? Ins or outs?
I think
Anything?
there's a guy, the winger called Balik Shah. I think I've probably butchered that name, but from Antwerp or something, I think. But again, I think it's another case of us
Oh yeah,
taking
that
2 months to try and sign somebody, low balling offers, and like quite rightly now, the agent and the player are just fed up. So I have
what they valued him like 7 million or something. Is
something like
that?
that. Yeah, something like that. And I just don't understand why the Celtic board can't work out that you're better buying one player at 7 million who's likely to start and improve your team than you are spending 1 or 1.5 million on players that Rodgers immediately doesn't even want in the squad. I don't understand the philosophy.
Resale value.
Do you think?
But I don't see the resale value
How
in
much did you pay for Kuhn?
3 or 4
3?
million, I think.
You
But
just got
obviously,
16
it couldn't
back.
turn out to be a good signing.
Yeah, you only need 1 in 6 of them to work, though, for that to work out.
But
We
do you
need
think
to
they're
make
trying
6
to do like
signings
another?
first.
Do you think they're trying to do like another?
Good point.
I was going to say, like, do you think with the fee that you paid for Matt O'Reilly all those years ago, like £1.5 million or something, do you think they're trying to find those wee gems rather than invest in a proven starter or somebody that, like you said, that can come in and just
I
hit
think
the ground running?
I think so, but I think that's been very charitable. You know, Matt O'Reilly had played football before he arrived at Celtic. You know, Callum Osmond, the guy that we've got from Fulham, hasn't played a single minute of professional football yet, and he's I think 19 or 20. So that's a bit of a concern. Listen, would be happy to eat my words if some of these players that end up having really good seasons for Celtic, but early indications are that it's the board sort of stripping away at the quality and chipping away again, and probably hedging their bets on whether or not we get through a potentially tricky Champions League tie. Which, again, you need good players on the pitch in order to progress. And right now, the squad's weaker than it was. You know, Kieran Tierney is a fantastic piece of business, but the only reason he's back is because he's got a affinity with the club. You know, he loves Celtic. That fell into Celtic's lap. You know,
And his injury record.
Yeah,
That is
but he's it seems like he's had a pre-season. He's been fighting fit, so hopefully he's all good. But Yamada seems like an interesting signing. Nygren probably is the bright point from pre-season.
About him.
Yeah, he looks like a good player. I mean, I think we signed him as a winger, but he's been playing in the middle of the park, which is quite interesting. So hopefully he's quite...
30 league games last season, he scored 15 goals. But he actually massively overperformed his XG. I think his XG was only in and around 10. So I've seen a lot of talk about him as being the next possible sort of Kyogo sort of player where you could see him being the top goal scorer in the league by the end of next season.
I think I could be wrong here. He came from the same club as Kulusevski, and there might be a bit of like this Kulusevski vibe.
Norslander,
it
was,
so quite excited about him.
They've got a proven track record of like bringing through young players and punting them on for a good fee. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the same club as Diamandi, right? Nordsjælland in the Danish league.
But our best players, minus Tierney, are still the bulk of players and Postecoglou signed. It's not Rodgers signings. That first Rodgers summer transfer window now, where Yang and Bernardo are the only players left that he signed, and we signed 8 players or something, is just looking more and more ridiculous by the day.
Right, okay. So can you not level... I'm genuinely asking this, I don't have an opinion on it. Can you not level some of the criticism of Brendan Rodgers in?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah,
and that is something that has followed him round in his managerial career, is he isn't capable of signing consistently good players.
Yeah,
to fill a squad.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's not much more I can say about that. I think it followed him around at Liverpool as well. His transfer policy was a bit questionable, and
Ricky Lambert for Luis Suarez is seriously.
We could do with a bit of Ricky Lambert or Luis Suarez. So it's not panic stations yet, but it just feels so familiar, and it's just so frustrating because, I believe, and most Celtic fans believe, that we have the potential to be a much bigger club in Europe than we are, and it just feels like the board don't match that ambition at all. So hopefully I'm proven wrong, but yet again, we'll record again in 2 weeks and I'll be sadder.
Yeah, well, I think we always do this as well. Is that Rangers and Celtic's boards do wait to see what European competition they are in after all the legs are kind of played. Like obviously, are Celtic going to be in Europa League, or where are Rangers going to be? Because it does dictate a lot of the financial fair play. So if Celtic did go out and spend 50 million on a player and then ended up in the Europa League, you've got a penny pinch from somewhere else. Like,
or sell Dyson next season. By all accounts, Dyson might be away as well. There's reports that he might be off, and can you imagine that Celtic
Barcelona?
Can you imagine that Celtic squad without Maida?
Barcelona B.
Honest to God, still can't
So,
believe that.
do you think he's away though? Do you think he's maybe away because he doesn't feel like the squad is as strong
I wouldn't
as
blame
it
him.
was last season? Or?
I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame Rodgers, and I wouldn't blame Maida. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay, Paddy boy, 3 players in, or 3 positions.
We need 3 wingers before Kuhn left. I think.
How far away is Jota? He's back in training or what?
We'll be lucky to see him in 2025.
Oh,
really?
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it was a proper terrible injury. Like, it's one of those where you think we might have seen his best football already. But hopefully, I hope I'm wrong. So yeah, minus Jota. Currently, the only wingers at Celtic are Yang, Forrest, and Maida. Nygren can play on the right, but if that's not where we're going to use him, we've got 3 wingers. So that's obviously not sustainable, given Forrest was a sub for most of last season. Before Kuhn left, I think Roger said we need 3 wingers. Kuhn's now gone, so we probably need. Well, we definitely do need probably 2 wingers that are capable of starting. We probably still look a little bit light up front. Adam Ida's not impressed in pre-season at all. He's becoming a bit of a scapegoat. I think Yamada might fill that void, but I wouldn't say no to another striker arriving. And then you've still got Liam Scales as your second choice centre half, which no harm. The guy had a good season last season, but surely we can do better than Liam Scales. And then if Inamura does go out on loan or Rodgers doesn't rate him, then Kieran Tierney is the only left back. So there's a lot of gaps at Celtic. Ralston's still our backup right back. I'm fine with that, but we could probably be doing
that
much
probably
more.
is fine though. Like,
it's fine, but you just think, where's the ambition? Where's the quality? Rodgers keeps mentioning quality. I don't think we've signed much quality yet. So yeah, Celtic
midfield. Looking at your midfields, what worried it a little bit for me. I mean, Cal McGregor's another year older. You cannot expect that boy to keep playing 60 games as consistently as he is. It's not fair on him.
No, it's not. Hatate's still there. He's quite unpredictable. McGregor's another year older. I've no doubt McGregor will be brilliant this season, but there seems to be no long-term strategy in replacing him. And you've got McCowan and Engels, Bernardo. A couple of injuries. We're back to being incredibly light. If I was a Rangers fan, I'd be looking at this current Celtic team and thinking we could have a right go here with if we recruit well and coach well.
Right, lads, now that I've got you in an absolute cracking mood, let's move on to popular and unpopular season predictions. Let's start with the whole league, and Paddy Boy, you're up first.
Well, my popular opinion will be that I think Celtic will win the league again. Just getting that in early. But no, I don't know if this is much of an unpopular opinion. I'd be interested to see what you guys think, but I do think that apart from Celtic and Rangers, obviously, the only team in last year's top 6 that will stay in this year's top 6 is Hibs. It was Dundee United and St Mirren and Aberdeen that made up the rest. I think they will all be bottom 6 teams next season.
Aberdeen?
Yep.
Wow, Jordan really got to you on that last podcast.
Yeah, hi Jordan.
Genuinely, why Aberdeen? I had Aberdeen finishing 3rd this season.
Well, if their trajectory stays the same, which was a great start and then an absolute slump and then a return to form, they're due a slump, aren't they? And if they have another patch like they did last season without winning in 13 or 14 games, if they don't start the season well, I don't see them picking it up. And I also think Hearts surely can't be that poor again. And then you've got some you've got Falkirk and Livy, I think might be really difficult games for people.
Falkirk, especially if they can play like they did in the Championship and add a little bit of quality, and obviously Scotty Arfield and stuff like. Do you know what I mean? They actually do have quite good players. So,
yeah. That's my maybe unpopular take.
Okay, Scotty boy.
I kind of disagree with Pat in the sense that I think Rangers. I'm going to say Rangers will win the league, but obviously I have to.
You just said the expectation second.
No, I
can't. You
No, I'm saying I would like us to win the league, but
Oh, shock! Wow.
You asked me what success would look like for Martin, and I said if he finishes second with closing the gap, that would be success. But
I
obviously,
reckon there'll be Rangers fans in the comments chucking
absolutely. But I'm as a fan myself, I want Rangers to win the league, obviously. So them to win, Celtic to be second, and I agree with Pat. I think Hibs will
How
finish
humble of you.
third. I know, right? So super nice of me. I think Hibs will finish third. I've gone for Hearts to finish fourth. I think under the Tony Bloom investment, they've signed some good players. They've obviously got a seasoned manager that knows the league. Signed some really good players.
Shanklin re-signed.
Yeah, the squad looks a lot healthier, like in terms of the overall quality. I think Aberdeen will finish fifth. I think again another season under Jimmy Thalen. They've seemed to added quite well. They might
You
not
just
have
run this through the whole league table.
Yeah, no. And then I think for relegation, I've put Dundee to get relegated.
Ooh, I think that's a good shout.
I think
that was my
I think Stephen Presley is just. It was a terrible decision in a Tony Dockery. No, it was. I think like
that was some noise.
Sometimes I think Stephen Presley, because of the way he speaks, gets a lot of stick. And I actually hope they don't get relegated. But it's also, regardless of whether it was Stephen Presley or whoever, that's a very difficult job.
I just gave you stick for the way you spoke.
You did, you.
That's difficult, but at the same time, I think it was a harsh signing. A harsh sacking to get rid of Tony Dockery. I think he's done a good job for them. So, and he's not. Stephen Presley's come in and not really set the header has he? He's kind of lost.
There's a lot more eyes on them, isn't there? There's a lot more eyes on them.
I mean, okay, they've lost Lyle Cameron and Josh Mulligan, but they're just not recruited well. I don't think either.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna lay it on the line.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Oh.
I think momentum's a massive thing in football going into a season, and I said at the back end of last season that I did not understand for the life of me the stick Russell Martin was receiving. I think Rangers have got a serious chance of winning the league this season, and I think what might happen.
Of course, they've got a chance.
Yeah, but just based on the way things are going with Celtic and history repeating itself a little bit, I think if it maybe gets to December time and Rangers are on top of the league, doing well in Europe, cups, etc.
You saying Rangers win the league?
I think Brendan Rodgers will leave and Rangers will win the league.
Wow. Okay.
I think we'll have a repeat of COVID season, but with it actually counting.
Did count. Shut it.
And that's
we didn't get given a league title in a shower, did we? So anyway, this is a new season. We're supposed to be friends here. Let's just keep it nice and chill.
That's not based on. I don't think Rangers will maybe get 100 odd points and run away with it. I just think the Celtic will regress a little bit and Rangers will progress enough to make up that gap in between. And if you look at the stats on last season, and generally I implore all our listeners to go and look at some of the games Rangers dropped points last season. That you just cannot drop points in those same games again. And Celtic were not great in the league last season.
Flash forward 5 days, Rangers draw in the opening league game. Celtic hammer.
I'll be getting a Martin t-shirt out, don't you worry. That's my predictions on the league, and I'm happily be shot down on that for all 38 podcasts that we'll probably do throughout the season.
The blind two bears,
And the same for the whole league. I think Dundee will get relegated, and I'll very interested to see what Hearts do with the Tony Bloom stuff that you highlighted as well, Scotty. But I actually had Aberdeen finishing third. If they get some good business cross line, I do think they've got a serious manager there, and winning a trophy just gives the whole club a lift. So, yeah. Well, you've kind of given me your own teams, but Paddy Boy, any other predictions from a Celtic point of view this season?
Yeah, I think we're going to miss out on the Champions League this season. I've just got a horrible feeling. We've had it good the last couple of years, but it's not unpopular opinion. I don't think our run in Europa is the worst thing for us from a fan's perspective in terms of football and excitement, because I think we could do some serious damage in that competition. Obviously, financially, recruitment, Rodgers, players wanting to come to the club really suffers if we don't make the Champions League. But I think that's maybe in the post. I hope I'm wrong, but looking at the way we've not recruited and the current mood around the place, yeah, I feel like Champions League's maybe looking a little bit iffy, but it could end up being a blessing, so we might have a good run in Europe again.
Europa League's a lot better competition now because they don't drop the teams down from the Champions League either. So it's far better for Rangers and Celtic in that.
For the record, that's not me saying I want Europa League instead of Champions League, but I just, I feel like that could end up being a blessing in disguise. Let's see.
Like Scotty saying that he wants Rangers to win the league.
Sure.
Next opinion, Scott?
I just think for us, like, domestic success is more important this year than European success.
Wow. Okay.
I think that has to be the focus. Obviously, last year, as you mentioned, there's a few results in the league that we shouldn't have dropped points, and we did. I expect us to play a lot better. I think you saw in Panathinaikos game when they went down to 10 men how much we crowded their box. I think that's going to be a regular theme throughout the season against some of the teams, and we looked like we were actually able to figure out little gaps to play in. So I'm excited to see that. I think we'll do a lot better in the league domestically. I think for us, success would be a cup and pushing all the way for the title.
Celtic have got 2 cups already.
Oh, was that the Como Cup,
No, we lost that one, but we won the Cork Cup and the Adidas Cup.
What did you win?
We were going for a treble in that Como Cup.
Oh, yeah.
He's not even started yet.
Oh, he's wearing printed t-shirts and everything.
Oh, absolutely. A pilgrimage to Como every year.
Can I give my last unpopular opinion?
Well, I was going to let Scott go.
No, on you go, Pat. So you go, mate.
Russell Martin won't last the season.
Oh, why? Give your insight. Go.
Because you'll bottle it again.
Okay, can I add to your unpopular opinion? Do you think Brendan Rodgers will be there at the end of the season?
I don't.
Regardless of what happens with Martin.
Rodgers makes it to the end of the season and leaves. Yep,
Well,
doesn't extend his contract. That's what I think. Watch Celtic's empire crumble in 4 months. Rodgers has walked and Martin's strolling it.
My opinion obviously is somewhat different from yours, Pat. Shock. I believe Rodgers will walk mid-season. I think come December, if things aren't going the way, if it's a few points in it and he's not getting backed, he's not being backed this summer. It doesn't look like he's going to get backed in the January window. I think he'll be leaving. I think mid-season he walks, and then Rangers.
Big Ange back up the road.
Nah, mate, Dunfermline on top of the league in the Championship.
Neil Lennon.
Neil Lennon.
Neil Lennon in the shower. Listen,
brings Victor with him.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Rodgers walks mid-season if he doesn't do it before the end of the window.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's my unpopular opinion.
What's my unpopular opinion? I think that
You've already said it. Thinks Rangers is going to win the league.
Hibs to win the Conference League.
no opinion I give is a popular opinion. I don't see any club getting near. So there's an unpopular opinion actually. I think the gap between second and third will be minimum 15 points this season. I don't see any club below Rangers and Celtic getting anywhere near them.
You think Rangers will finish second?
Success, according to Scotty.
Well done, Scott. That's fantastic.
Monumental change, boys. That's what it is.
But obviously, we want all our listeners' opinions. So if you want to jump on our socials on Instagram and TikTok, we're obviously going to be putting this on, and we'd love to hear what your popular and unpopular opinions will be for the season.
What is our social, Steve?
Our socials are the @BoyTheBear on Instagram and the same on TikTok, but we are also Paddy Boy on YouTube, where this full episode and our shorts will be put up. So all you have to do is go and search for The Boy and the Bear. And I appreciate you putting me on the spot on the first episode of the season for something that usually Scott does. Well, you've been listening to The Boy and the Bear. You can email us your questions or complaints at theboyandthebear@gmail.com. And like we said above, all our social media channels are now live for the new season.
Hail, hail.
Follow.
See you soon, boys.